What's new, crew? Welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing a really typical day on the homestead, tackling some chores. My husband has been on the road working all summer long, and I have been struggling with the watering system out in the orchard. If you're new, in the beginning of the spring we put in about 1/4 of an acre permaculture orchard. We do not have irrigation in here, and we were very lucky for most of the spring and early summer. We had a lot of rain. Well, the last couple weeks we have not had a lot of rain, so I've been hand watering all of the berries and all of the trees. I tried to put up this sprinkler system, but it was a little bit out of my scope of skills. So when my husband finally came home, he helped me improve the sprinkler system that I had put up. This is definitely more his wheelhouse on things. So we ended up getting these sprinklers that you just put on the top of T-posts, and he pounded in the T-posts for me. We had these T-posts left over actually from putting the permaculture fence up. We did all of the work ourselves, all of the fencing, all of the planting, everything out here. It was a labor of love. So we ended up getting one of these little doohickeys that attach to the hose that you can just set off lots of hoses from, and we have 4 different sprinklers running in the permaculture orchard. So that's what we're doing here, is he's kind of teaching me along the way, so that way if he's ever working on the road again, I can be a little bit more skilled in handling a problem like this on my own. So that was very good. I was really happy that I had him. He always makes these projects a lot more fun and a lot less daunting because he's a lot more knowledgeable in things like this than I am, but I definitely take over more of like the garden and the preserving of things. So it's nice to have a partner that you can kind of bounce off of and balance each other off. And as you can see, I have a little helper here. Cleo was out in the permaculture orchard with us, and she was like running through the sprinklers while we were getting set up. So it was a lot of fun. But before we set the sprinklers off, I really wanted to fertilize these berries with our little bit of our True Organics fertilizer. We really want to get these really set before winter. That way, hopefully next year we can get berries off of our blackberries. We came in and I ended up changing because I got drenched by one of the sprinklers. But we came in and I really wanted to get this laundry room tackled, like I mentioned. My husband has been on the road all summer. For the first couple of weeks, he was home at least on the weekends, but then for the last month and a half, my husband's been working out of state. So the laundry room kind of got out of hand. We had a little bit of like a head cold thing go through the house. It was the middle of the night and I wasn't paying attention, and I accidentally spilled almost an entire bottle of Dayquil in between the washer and dryer. So I needed to get that taken care of. I needed to get that wiped down. Just wanted to give the laundry room a little bit of a reset. I'm sure, as you can imagine, a house with 6 people, even when my husband's gone, 5 people. A lot of laundry. So I wanted to get this just cleared out. This becomes a little bit of a dumping ground for me because it's right off my kitchen. I don't have a lot of storage in the kitchen, so a lot of my kitchen equipment ends up in here. Random things just ends up getting piled on top of the washer and dryer to be dealt with later. And now it's later. So I got all of that taken care of. I really wanted to give the floors a sweep and a mop, clean this rug, get this rug through the washer and dryer, and just clean everything up. A lot of our harvest buckets go in here. Each of the kids has their own bucket, and they can go down to the garden or out to the orchard and pick berries or whatever their heart desires. So I wanted to give everything a wipe down, everything a sweep, everything a mop, and it felt so good to get this laundry room done. Do you guys have a room in your house that for whatever reason just collects things, or maybe not a room but a space, and you just feel so good when you actually get that space cleaned off and cleared out? That's my laundry room. My whole house feels 10 times cleaner when I have this room put together. So I really liked that I was able to get this done this day. I also, while I was in here, realized that I was just about out of laundry detergent. So once I got done in here, I went ahead and got a batch of homemade laundry detergent going. I will link this recipe down below if you're interested. I've shared this in a handful of videos. I am making a double batch here because as a family of 6, that's kind of what we need. And this typically lasts my family somewhere between like 3 and 4 months. I started making this at the beginning of the year. It has saved my family an unbelievable amount of money. While that was cooking down on the stove, I also went ahead and made 2 more things of an all-purpose cleaner. This is just water and a squirt of Castile soap. I like to switch out my scents. I like to do 2 different scents at a time. That way I have options. The bottles that I'm using and the Castile soaps are linked down below if you're interested. I got all of that from Amazon. I really like it. Then I went ahead and wanted to get dinner going. So I originally meal planned to do pasties this night, but my meat was not nearly thawed enough for pasties, and pasties is something you really need your meat to be thawed. So I went out to the freezer and grabbed some frozen pork chops, and we're gonna make that work. I take a can of cream of mushroom soup, a packet of onion soup mix, and I thin that out with a little bit of milk. I'm gonna pour that over our frozen pork chops and put it in the oven at 400 degrees for about an hour because these pork chops are frozen. If they weren't, I would say it takes maybe 30 minutes or so, but this is gonna create just a little bit of a gravy for our pork chops. Once I got that in the oven, my laundry detergent was ready to be put into jars. I got these jars from TJ Maxx. They are a gallon. I have 2 of them. They were $10 a piece. I say that a lot, but every time I show them, I get questions on them. Very affordable. I love them. I would love to go back and get more because I know I would have more uses for them. Common questions. Does this recipe thicken up? Yes. The longer it sits, the more likely it is to get what I would call chunky. This is what our finished dinner looked like. I ended up doing roasted carrots from the garden, stuffing with a little bit of beef gravy, potatoes and onions from the garden that I sauteed in butter with salt and pepper. And this was a full day here of projects and different things on the homestead. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day, and I will catch you guys in another one. My thoughts, and when I start to think, oh,